Hey there everyone. I think this is going to be a fairly quick video. We'll certainly see. There's a number of items that I've fixed in version 1079 that I'm planning to release as soon as Jason releases an official build of BigBox, which I believe is next week, fingers crossed. So let's get into it. If I go and open up 1079, and we'll go through some of the visual stuff. Actually, for the most part, these are primarily visual. So let me pick on this color. And one of the things I had introduced in the previous build was the ability to, let's see, I think it was on custom images. Yes, so this check flag here, you could say whether or not you wanted to save the files out using get a database ID or the game title. It was suggested by Mr. Retrolust to have this setting saved, so you didn't have to remember to click it or unclick it, whichever your preference. Okay, so now this setting is now saved at the application level. Okay. Let's see. And I had some issues with, and I didn't realize this, I had some issues rendering platform categories and playlists for custom images. So as we're in here, if I click on platform categories, okay, arcade, computers, consoles, handhelds, okay, and if I select all platform categories and then open custom images, platform categories, and here they are, okay, and let's see, and let's delete these. I want to make sure they actually come up with the correct date here. All platform categories, date created 5/12. I don't know why it's doing that. Interesting. Not sure why it's got 5/12 on there. Okay. But anyway, as you can see, they're being created. Let's see. Let's come out and go to playlists, and I'll just tap through these automated playlists and select render. It's probably a leftover from when I was switching my PC to work in different regions. So I don't know why it's rendering it with a different time zone and clearly a different date. Never mind. Alright, so playlists, here you go. So this wasn't working in the previous build. I'm surprised no one shouted at me on the forum. But unless you guys are just being too nice. But anyway, that works. That's been fixed. So yeah, you can render everything now, which is kind of cool. And let's see, talking of playlists, another thing that I don't know, no one brought it to my attention. So let's go onto a video view, onto a platform view, and let me pick, yeah, there you go. Let's turn the volume down. Excuse me. So yeah, the videos weren't being pulled in the previous version for custom, for automated playlists. So now they are. Yeah, who would have thunk? So yeah, they're all being pulled in nicely now. Let's see. Game details. Yeah. So let's go. This is actually a good segue into another thing here. So if I click on wheel and I click on style, so style 4 was the style I had included with the last build, and let me just change, whoops, to 4. Okay, let me just change the alignment. So that's left aligned and right aligned. I'm not sure if you're noticing this, but there's actually spacing. Okay, there's spacing around the text. All right, and if I center and then wrap, and of course it's on the first entry, so I can't prove it to you on here. You just have to take my word for it. But it has equal spacing around the text now, and as I increase the font size, the spacing also changes. Okay, so let me left align again. And that was a request from Thimola, Thimola, T-H-I Mola. So that's been corrected. And then I didn't stop there. As you can clearly see, the style here is very, very different. Okay. So I added an additional 3 styles. As I was in that area anyway, I figured why not? And to be honest, I quite like the result. In fact, I really like the result. So I've added 6, 5, 6, and 7. All right. So as you can see, the selected item is increased by a hair based on the size of font that you selected here. Okay, so it's all, you know, proportional. Okay, so it's just slightly larger than the unselected. And then number 6 is bigger still, and again it's still proportional to the unselected entries. Okay, and then bigger still. So it really all depends on, you know, what you're up to, what you're trying to get across. but you know, I think it looks pretty cool. And again, you know, you can browse the styling and copy it and then paste it as a new style. And if you don't like the shadow effects, you can change the shadow effects here or completely remove them. Change some of the base coloration. Yeah, I quite like the look of these particular styles. I think that's all I can say about that one, really. So let me see. 3 additional styles: genre, play mode, and region. Oh, yeah, so let me come out of this particular view. I don't know if I have all this information. Yeah, let me pick something with a game. Yeah, okay. I didn't realize this was an issue until I think it was Farron that brought it to my attention. He was saying that the genre and play mode and region you couldn't alter the text format, i.e., you know, you couldn't force it all lowercase or all uppercase. I thought this property was always being displayed, and apparently it wasn't. So the property was there, it just was not popping up on the panel. So that's been fixed for those particular UI elements. All right. Let's see. Let me come out and let me hit duplicate. You can now use dashes in your names. I don't know why I was preventing that from happening. So -2, hit OK. Duplication now runs in a separate background thread instead of tying up the editor now. And it's done. And the notifications pop in to let you know that it was done. So the dash is now allowed in the naming of themes. And obviously I just demonstrated duplication running in a separate thread. And the same is true when you hit delete of a theme. There you go. And let's see. We'll go back into plain and simple. Actually, even this is fine. Let's click, make sure the wheel is selected. And one of the things that was asked again by Farron was the ability to skew wheels. Or in this case, I'm in a text list, but all wheels support these properties. So if I skew by X, skew by Y, you know, so I added the skew X and Y properties to all the wheels. Okay, just in case your theme desires the skewing of the wheels to go with everything else that you can skew on the X and Y. Let's see. And then you may have already noticed by hitting edit, theme edit, you can specify how the published theme, the aspect ratio for your published theme. How will it be displayed when you finally run it within BigBox? It defaults to stretch because up until now all the themes that are published just stretch by default. But now, again, this was another request by Farron, was to have the option to at least specify if it's a 16:9 or 4:3 aspect ratio. Okay. All right. Now, so far, these are all visual things, and that's all fine and dandy. Let me exit 1079 for now, because in order to show you something, I need to load up the current build that's out on the forum. And let's go to, what is it, Launchbox, BigBox. Okay. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. So the custom images I had included with plain and simple when I put the new build out there. Looks fine on here because obviously I put it together on this computer. However, I didn't realize this, but when I actually downloaded this build from the forum and placed it on my laptop, all these images were skewed because the aspect ratio and resolution is very, very different on my laptop. So, so that was, I guess, nice of me to give you these custom image templates, but they're completely unusable, or at least you guys are probably being too nice and not reporting an issue by saying, hey, these didn't transfer across, and I had to kind of retweet them or what have you. But I'll show you what happens. So in order to do this, I just need to hop onto my laptop real quick. And so what I'll do, I'll take these templates as I had saved them on my laptop. I'm going to go the other direction. So now I'm going to place them here on the desktop. These are from my laptop, and this is 1078. We're going to go into custom images. I'm going to remove the ones that are currently there. I'm going to replace them with the ones from my laptop, and then I'm going to reopen 1078. And as you can see, completely misaligned. Alright? And like I said, I think you guys, either you didn't use them, or you saw this and you just simply, just tweaked it, and you were on your merry way. But that is not acceptable. Okay? It doesn't allow you to share templates with others on the forum, and it was certainly not cool of me to ship these templates with a theme with the software and coming up with results like this. But that is not an issue now with 1079. Alright, so I'm going to take the same files and I can go into and I've got a lot, and I don't want to lose these, so let me just what do I do? All kinds of confused now. send them into a compressed folder. Let me just make sure they're all there before I delete anything. This is a lot of work. Okay. So they're all in here. Let me just delete these. Let's take these 4 from my laptop, place them here. And then I can run 1079. And we'll go into custom images, and as you can see, they're just fine. Okay. So their sizing is retained just fine. Okay. Whether you use them or not is irrelevant. What's important is that if you have created your own templates and you wish to share them on the forum, you can do so freely, and the software is not going to skew them in any shape or form. Okay, so that's the most important thing. Or at least if you're not sharing them on the forum, if you have multiple computers, let's say you got a work computer or you got a laptop and a desktop like I have here, and you're bouncing your theme projects between computers, and the computers are different resolutions, at least you're not going to lose the dimensions of your templates as and when you transfer them across computers. So anyway, that's fixed. I know that was kind of very wordy, but it was better for me to kind of at least show you what the issue is in the current build, 1078, and that it is actually fixed with 1079. Okay. Let's see. I think that's it from the visual, from all the visual stuff. Now, one of the things, one of the very first fixes for 1079, there was actually because it's so very easy to define animation within the theme creator, we had an issue that was reported by one guy on the forum, Retro 808. He had been running some various themes in a track mode, and to the point where some of his arcade cabinets were just crashing. Was crashing BigBox. And working with Jason, we discovered that certain themes, at least certain themes created via the theme creator, that were leveraging a very high number of animations, were the root cause. And what was actually happening was, as a track mode spins through the list of games or platforms, it was triggering a particular animation, and that animation could be to fade certain items. So, for example, as I go through the list here, the main items are disappearing from the screen. Okay, and then as I come to rest, they all fade in. Well, if you imagine a track mode is going through this list extremely quickly, and every time it's hovering over an item for a split second, it's wanting to trigger, in this case, it wants to trigger a fade, and it kicks off all the animations to say fade developer, fade publisher, fade release, fade genre, fade all the headings, fade the video, fade the box art. That's an awful lot going on. So it wasn't a surprise that it was actually causing BigBox to crash. Well, the good thing is that Jason made a change on his side, I've made a change on my side, and The animation will still work as before. It's just a lot more efficient in the way this particular set of animations are now triggered. So they're not triggered at like 1/50th or 1/60th of a second now. Anyway, that was a big performance fix that was implemented some couple of weeks ago. And I myself, not usually into running a track mode because I don't have an arcade cabinet or anything, but I did run a track mode for 30 minutes in a very aggressive state, and I was monitoring CPU, GPU, and memory utilization, and it looked fine. And of course, more importantly, it didn't crash. So that's good. That's excellent. So that was really a big thing, and that's really what kind of spawned this particular version 107.9. Because I think at the end of the last video I said I was going to start working on new features, and that was the plan, but I noticed more and more things that were not working correctly and not working as they should be. So hence I wanted to fix all that stuff before truly starting, before working on the next set of features. So really, you know, as far as animation triggering and performance, that's not something you're really going to notice until you publish. And like I said, if you're running a track mode and it doesn't cause your system to hang up, then there you go, it's working just fine. Now let's see. I have actually made some performance improvements itself to the theme creator. So as I'm on a platform view, no, I'm on a games view, my apologies. So let's see. Let's switch views. So as I switch to the games view, the whole thing is loaded, so you can see that the date and time, they scroll in, and that's only supposed to happen when the view is first loaded. Once it's loaded, as I select a game, the only animations being triggered now are the content animations, so the box, the video, the detailed information. All of that stuff will fade out and then fade back in once I've made a new selection. Okay, as the date and time above, they just stay still because the view has already been loaded. On the previous versions of the theme creator, every time I made a selection, it was reloading the view from scratch, so it was triggering every single animation from scratch, which wasn't really a good indication of how BigBox was going to present this view. So now we're a lot closer to how BigBox will actually present this view as if it was running directly within BigBox. Okay, and not only that, by not loading everything from scratch, you know, you're certainly saving the CPU and GPU by not reloading all these resources or re-triggering all these animations. So there are some some performance gains there. Let me see. Other than that, like you can see here, I have tweaked the plain and simple theme that I include with the theme creator, or every version of the theme creator. You know, with the new styling and whatnot. Some of the information is some of the game views I've kind of tweaked, and instead of the video kind of bouncing in now, I've just simply got it fading in with everything else as you select up and down, you know, through a game, and fades in once you've selected. I've kind of moved items around just to make it a little bit more readable. But I think this time round, I'm going to include, I don't want to use the phrase theme, but because it's not a full-blown theme, it's just something I test effects with and test other UI elements. I just kind of cobble them together, and so it's not a full-blown theme, but you know, it might give you some ideas and to come up your own, come up with your own theme, maybe using some of the techniques that I've put together here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So what I've done here is let me just spin through some of the games here, and if you look very, very closely at this area and this area, okay, as I select different games, do you see that? Let's pick a different platform. I'm just picking games at random here. Yeah. So I think you get the idea. You can see it's changing color. There's a little bit of movement. It's not a true reflection, it's a fake reflection. And we'll go into edit, and I'll kind of give you a brief of how this is working. So down in the animation section, as soon as the view is loaded, what I'm doing is I'm scaling the width and height. So I'm increasing and decreasing. Okay. And I have that on a loop. And at the same time, I'm changing the opacity value, and I'm using an easing function here, an elastic, so it will kind of snap back and forth. Okay, so it's like a stutter effect. So it's by changing the opacity value kind of in a stuttery way, it almost looks like it's acting upon movement from the video itself, which it clearly isn't because I'm faking it all out. And then overall, I've got it heavily blurred. But what am I actually using? I'm using the gameplay. I'm using the gameplay image. And then the opacity level itself I've set to very low. Okay. So the same trick is the same down here. And I have that image being cast across the whole thing. So it's actually changing the color of the buttons and the joysticks, and obviously the metal surface on the cabinet, because the opacity is so low. It's able to cast that color over the whole thing. So I thought it was kind of a neat trick. All right. And let's see. And then on the marquee area, I have an animation in place. Let's see. Yep. And I have a same kind of trick with the opacity. I'm performing an elastic kind of stutter effect that makes it look like the light or the bulb behind the marquee is almost going to go out. They're cheap effects, but it look kind of cool. Well, I think it looks cool. And then on here, as you can see, I have wrapped the text list and I'm utilizing one of the new styles, in this case 5, because I didn't want it to be extremely large like so. I just want it to be just slightly larger than the rest of the text in the list. And then obviously I've changed the coloration of the list itself here, the unselected items. I left the selected items still yellow. I thought that was still kind of effective. And I think this looks kind of neat, kind of clean looking. And I've used that look and feel throughout, as you can see on the menu screen and the other text lists. So that was this is one that I will probably end up including, just so that you know, there's some interesting effects here that might get your creative juices going, and you end up coming up with your own themes. Maybe, you know, leveraging some of the ideas here. You never know. And here's another one that I was messing around with very late last night, and then I somewhat finished it this morning. Again, it's not a full-blown theme. It's really just to test effects, test my software, really. I don't really get a great deal of time to sit down and just mess with the theme creator without doing any coding, and I haven't done any coding in 2 days, so I was able to kind of just sit down and kind of enjoy using the theme creator. So here's this one. I thought this was very different. It's only got 2 views, platform and game. And let me just make sure. Yep, it's set to 16:9. What I'll do, I'll go ahead and publish. And it's super small. And then we'll fire up BigBox. And like I said, I was just messing around. I downloaded some images last night, and I really wanted to see what I could do with them, and I really liked the image on the left with the red and it almost looks like carbon fiber. That was throughout the whole thing, and I had some metal textures, so I kind of integrated the two with some other metal objects just to see what it would you know, come up with. I mean, I'm not a graphics person at all, but I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to have a play. I don't usually get the time, or I don't make time. So yeah, I was having fun with this. Yeah, but that's about the extent of it. It was just a game view and a platform view, and it's really, you know, mainly down to the images here. And again, you know, if there's particular techniques that you like the look of, you know, maybe not necessarily the theme itself or the images themselves, but the technique. I mean, hopefully this will give you some good ideas. I'm not sure if I can actually share this particular theme, because I bought some of these images from Shutterstock, so I don't know, probably not, but you see it on video. At least you see what it's up to, and if you want to know how to perform this animation or how this is done, you just need to reach out to me on the forum or on YouTube and ask me, and I'll be more than happy to go over that with you. But yeah, that's it. That's really all I had. It was a fairly decent list of fixes and a couple of additions here and there. But yeah, it's like I said, I don't really get the opportunity to use my own software and kick back and have a play. So that was actually nice to be able to do that for a few hours this morning, and I didn't notice any other issues that I had missed. So this is pretty much the version, well, this is the version that I will be putting out there. And like I said, I will include that arcade, somewhat, completed theme, if you will. For you guys, if you like the artwork and the styling and whatnot, and you can go ahead and complete it. But yeah, that's it. Performance issue is a big thing. So once BigBox is released, this will be released, and for those theme creators that have been using my theme creator and heavily utilized animations, you will need to turn around and obviously install the 1079 and republish your themes and put them back out on the forum for those individuals that may have been suffering with performance issues due to running a track mode and whatnot. So be the first thing you should do. But that's it. So like I said, fingers crossed, if Jason releases the official the next version, the next official release of BigBox next week, then this will make its way out there too. So we shall see. All right, but that's it for now. I hope you like this, and I will see you soon.